Buffalo Sabre fans, I understand your frustration. Your team has a ton of talent. Yeah, you have Tage Thompson, Jeff Skinner, a very good back end with Owen Power and Darlene. You have invested in your future, and you even have a very good promising goalie, a promising starter for a long time in Devin Levi. But it has not been a good start to the season. The Buffalo Sabres have not played well, and I mean, the attendance in the stands is just proving that to be the case. Buffalo fans are tired of rooting for a product that is not good. So many years of promise, so many years of 10-game win streaks or long winning streaks followed by massive losing streaks is just expected to take its toll on the fan base, and I understand why the fans aren't supporting the team. Let's just go right into the schedule. We'll kind of break it down. Don't know why it zoomed back in, but we're going to do it this old school. Zoom it right here. So let's take a look at the schedule the Sabres have been on thus far. Just negate these first two. These aren't regular season. So they lose their first game, the New York Rangers, 5-1. You know, not a great performance. They got outmatched. They just didn't even look like they belonged on the same ice. It just was not a good performance. Then they go play the Islanders. It's 3-2, closer game. So like, okay, maybe we're turning the corner a little bit better. Then the Tampa Bay Lightning, you beat them in overtime. All right, things are looking good. Then you lose to the Flames, who have been massively disappointing, 4-3. You do avenge your loss to the Islanders, 3-1. But then again, you lose to the Montreal Canadiens last night, 3-1. So you have a 2-4 record, and fans are beyond done with the Sabres. They just want this to be a good product on the ice. And some may say, oh, well, that's overreaction. I do think it's a little early to completely jump off the wagon, but if any fan base is justified to feel this way, it is Sabre fans. So many years of like bringing in potential, signing guys like Taylor Hall and other talent that have come in the door, and then just being flat out duds on the ice. So I can understand why they're so frustrated. Is it a little early in the season to get to this point? Absolutely. But this isn't just a one season thing. This is multiple years of continual failure that has made people, I would actually have to argue, relatively resentful of this franchise. Now, going into the standings, and this is where I like to bring, clarity to a lot of things in life, is through analytical data, I guess, right? Buffalo Sabres are currently dead last in the Atlantic. They have every right to be upset, but it's not like they're that far from even fourth place. They're 2 points behind, right? I know with a game in hand. I mean, other teams have game in hand, but it's just the defensive breakdowns haven't looked great. They're not producing as many goals as they should. I do assume that Tage Thompson will heat up, go on a tear. I think with Skinner as well. You have a solid top two lines there in Buffalo. But with how things have gone over the years, I can completely understand the frustration and not wanting to put yourself through it anymore. A very good YouTuber made a video even about the attendance in O. Nyquist. And, kind of going into this team, going into the depth chart, you do have talent here. Tage Thompson, Dylan Cousins, Jeff Skinner, Middlestat, Alex Tuck. Do I think Tuck is not going to be good this season? No, he's still mid, kind of late 20s. He's a very good player when he's on. I think Tage Thompson only has 1 point. That should definitely turn around. I don't imagine Tage Thompson not scoring more than that. I mean, Greenway's been pretty decent for what you expect. Skinner's, been solid. He's got 3 goals. Middlestat's got 4 points. I'm looking at this roster. There should be more there. I don't think it's all going to end there. Now, Darlene, he's been kind of mediocre in the defensive side, but he's had 6 points. And I'm not saying he hasn't had good games, but there's some plays I've watched that it's like, you can't make that mistake. Connor Clifton, you brought him in from the Boston Bruins. You signed him as a free agent. Connor Clifton is a very Jekyll and Hyde player. It's called Cliffy hockey for a reason, baby. He's going to be either very good or very bad. But when you look at the decor of the Buffalo Sabres, it's young, right? Owen Power, Yokiharu. Honestly, even Darlene and Samuelson, they're still young guys themselves. This is the problem with having so much youth on the back end. In my personal opinion, there's going to be those peaks, but there's going to be those valleys until they kind of stabilize themselves at the NHL level. And Eric Johnson, he's a respected pro, and Connor Clifton's been in the league for a while, but Clifton does have that reputation of being kind of like a very up and down guy. And, you know, Devin Levi, he's currently day-to-day. UPL will be starting tonight for the Sabres. Eric Comrie did solid in that start the other night. For me, the Sabres just got to be 500 until people get right. They got to be at least 500 so they don't lose fans. Jack Quinn, I read an article. I thought it was relatively soon that Jack Quinn would be back. But, I mean, even outside of some of these players that are out due to injury, there's talent here. They shouldn't be as bad as they are. And when you watch the film and you watch the goals that are scored against them, it's not like due to a lack of talent or just a skill gap. It's just horrific hockey IQ, horrific defensive structure. They need to address that. If the Sabres want to be in playoff contention, they're going to have to be far better in their zone than they currently are right now. And then just to kind of mention Jack Quinn, because I briefly mentioned him, I mean, he's out for at least the first season, might even go into December, January while he recovers from his Achilles surgery. I know it looks bleak, Sabre fans. I know it looks very bleak. I know a lot of you are upset, and maybe I have no justification to tell you to keep the faith, but the talent's there. Maybe I don't like to call for anyone's job. Maybe it is kind of a time for a change at the head coaching position, because a lot of the lapses I'm seeing is just it's inexcusable and shouldn't be happening. And maybe it's a mixture of having a very young team, some inexperience could be playing into it, but I think the Sabres have the talent to turn it around. But I'd like to know your thoughts, Sabre fans. Do you think that the Buffalo Sabres will be able to turn this around? And are you at least hopeful that you'll at least be in competition for a wild card spot? I'm Captain Paul. I'll see you in the next one.